Yes. I got it. I didn't fuck anything up with setting up the camera, even though I had to troubleshoot something real quick. Battery wasn't working. I don't know. Power issues. What's up, everybody? Good morning. If you're in the Pacific Coast, like I am. Good afternoon. Everywhere else in the world. Although I think we got some guys in Australia, which it's like early morning over there. So good morning to you guys. I've got some new data to play with. And I suppose if you're watching my stream, you probably have seen the new images from the Vera Rubin telescope that dropped this morning. I was on Nerduino's stream. I joined his stream. He was streaming. He was restreaming the stream of the announcement, reveal the new images. And I joined the stream, and then I went for a bike ride and missed the entire thing, and then came back. What's up, Curry Corn Dog? How are you? Welcome. Yeah, I mean, they're amazing. I think, honestly, I don't want to say underwhelmed. They're kind of nothing new. They're nothing that, like the views, just looking at the images, are nothing that, honestly, that we can't get from amateur equipment. I mean, they're great. Of course, I didn't really pixel peep them right that deeply, but, you know, the big thing is like how, you know, they can capture such a massive range of the sky at one time, right? So, yeah, they're out there. If somebody wants to drop a link in the chat, maybe we'll check it out. But we're gonna check out the some new data from the Chino Hills Observatory last night from my balcony. The Chino, I've been trying to sort of make that name stick, like that. My balcony is the Chino Hills Observatory. As far as I know, there's nobody else in Chino Hills with a telescope. I might be wrong about that. I'm sure there's somebody in the city that has a telescope, but there's nobody streaming on Twitch. So I get to take the name Chino Hills Observatory. Oh, okay. Yeah, just down the street. No. Chino Hills. I always have to separate ourselves from those people down in Chino, right? We're up here in the hills. Yeah, much fancier up here. Which I'm like literally right on the border, like across the street is Chino. So yes, indeed. No. A lot of Chino is pretty nice. Since it's, you know, it used to be all cow pastures and stuff, and now it's all warehouses and suburbia. So, what's up, PP Land? Haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you again. Yeah. No, Chino Hills is pretty nice. I dig it here. It's cool because it's like right on the edge of Chino Hills State Park. So there's a lot of kind of open space right here. It doesn't feel nearly as congested as a lot of other parts of SoCal. I mean, it still is because it's SoCal, but you know, it's a little bit more. And since I'm right on the edge of the hills, I'm sort of like not quite Bortle 9000. It's like Bortle 8900. You know what I mean? Like it's not quite like right on the edge, I think. Anyways, last night I shot a couple of Planetary nebula, and we'll take a look at those. First off, we have the fantastic Dumbbell Nebula. Super excited to be able to shoot this target again because I don't have a very good Dumbbell Nebula shot. I have some from years ago when I was doing astrophotography, but they weren't very good. And this one is from last night, just a little over 2 hours of data. It doesn't rise from behind the trees for a little while, so I can't get a lot of data on it each night yet. You know, as the weeks go on, it'll be in a better spot of the sky. But still, I'm really excited about the data that I have here. Looks quite sharp. Stars are quite round, and you know, all the detail in the core is all there. And you can see I'm just starting to get the faint bits of this outer, there's sort of like this outer fan region on the top and bottom here, and So I can see I get a little bit of that. So only 2 hours. So once I get this to like 11 hours of data, I think all that'll really start to pop out. So cool, corn dog. No worries. I appreciate the lurk. So we'll process this one. This is I'm excited about. I think this one turned out really well. Stars are round all around, and yeah, I think it's looking pretty good. Yeah. You worked at Scope City, huge Parks optical dealer. Oh, where was that at? Well, that sounds pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think there's really much difference, Land. And even if like the overall light pollution is maybe a teeny bit lower where I am, like there's all these bright lights on the side of these apartment buildings around me, right? So I don't know. It's probably a wash, but still, I mean, look, with filters, we can still get some really fun data to work with, and that's great. Oh, Riverside Mall. Okay, yeah. I bet there's not even old Tyler Mall. I bet that's not even a mall anymore. Which, yeah. So I shot that. Oh, Galleria. Yes, indeed. I'm 27. So we'll process this. I'm definitely gonna go and add more data to this as the nights, and weeks roll on. And I also shot. This one is also going to need more data, and this one is going to be tricky to process. This is the Cat's Eye Nebula, NGC 6543. The Cat's Eye Nebula. The nebula itself is teeny tiny. It's a little grain of rice here, but there's this outer region, and you can see I'm kind of just starting to get data on the outer region right here. There's this outer fainter area. So this is like 3 hours of integration time. And so what's gonna be challenging about this looks like a star. That's the Planetary Nebula. It's super bright. So it looks like a star, and when I'm first imaging this, I'm like, oh, I'm not getting, egg-shaped stars. Like, the stars aren't round, but then like, wait a minute, these stars are round. And then I realized like, oh, that's the Planetary Nebula. So look at the diffraction spikes that this thing is so bright, it causes these big fanned out diffraction spikes. Really interesting. So even if I undo the auto stretch, you can see the core is overexposed here. So this has to be done in an HDR image. So I shot, this was 240 seconds of 4-minute exposures, and to get the fainter region. And then I shot the core with 45-second exposures. And there we can see there's kind of some detail in the core there, right? Aperture f4. Yeah, so pretty fast. Yeah. Oh, wow. You saw the right stuff at the old AMC theater. Oh, okay. Well, I'm old enough to remember malls. So there's some data there in the core. You can see if I auto stretch the image, it blows it out. So this will be yeah, so this will be tricky to process. So I'll have to process these sort of two separately and then do like an HDR merge to get the core in there, where there's not much detail in here because it's so small, and but there's bright areas and dark areas, and it's not blown out. So I wonder if I sort of just kind of play with the histogram a little bit to kind of see what's too small, can't see. All right, well, we'll mess with that later. Let's do the Dumbbell Nebula first, because I think that one is the coolest one. It's definitely got the most fun detail and stuff to look at. And the other image is going to need, that Cat's Eye Nebula is going to need a lot more integration time to get detail out of it. So we'll continue with what we have. This one should be pretty straightforward to process. I don't think anything really Maybe a little bit of HDR kind of work to get the bright area and the dim area to kind of merge a little bit, sort of mix. Okay, first step is gradient subtraction. Let's do, we'll always try the new tools first here. We'll try the flux calibration and then the gradient removal tool. Good. Multi-scale gradient correction. I think I find generally I need to increase the gradient scale. And we'll run this and see how well this does. If it wants to pull out data in the core, which it oftentimes tends to pull out nebulosity, then we won't go with it. What does that look? Oh, okay. I mean, that's a gradient, so as far as I can tell, that did a pretty good job. I think that did a really good job. Okay, next step is color calibration, and we need a preview window for that. And we need kind of a starless region, at least no bright stars, maybe like that, whoops, that area. From preview, and we'll drop that on there. Also, tomorrow, I'm headed out to my favorite spot, headed out to the campground for at least 2 nights, maybe 3 nights. I think we have some good looking weather coming up of camping and astronomy and astrophotography from the best place to do it. I'm really looking forward to that, getting up there again. Got some friends that are heading up there today, so I'll meet them up there tomorrow. I was gonna go up tonight, but tonight's kind of like not that great. There's gonna be clouds for like the first part of the night, so I figure I'll go up tomorrow when it looks like it's gonna be clear, kind of all day. This is really looking brilliant. I'm pretty excited about this this one here. Let's get. I think that color calibration didn't work very well because the stars are a lot of red in there. So I'm going to try that again. Perhaps my preview is not large enough of an area. Or maybe my preview had too many stars in it. Maybe that was what. It's kind of hard to find a patch of pure background without. Yeah, without stars. Let's try that. Yeah, so I was looking forward to heading out. I was doing a little bit of planning about which targets I want to shoot. Maybe we'll look at that on stream when we're done processing. Okay, that looks pretty similar to, yeah, kind of similar to what I had before, so I guess we'll just roll with it. And we will run Blur Exterminator, crank that sharpen non-stellar up to about 0.8, and run that guy. Really loving the 6-inch telescope with the field of view that I'm getting. Really able to get nice details on, you know, relatively smaller targets like the Dumbbell Nebula here. And then when you sharpen it up, it just starts to look incredibly fantastic. Love to see the before and after. It just looks so good. There's the red in here. There's these waves of gas. These clouds, yeah, structures just look really very cool. Okay, Star Exterminator. So I'm definitely gonna shoot, I wanna shoot the Swan Nebula, M17. That's a beautiful target, and I don't have a good Swan Nebula picture. I have an image of it from years ago, but it was not very good. It was like poorly focused and or really bad seeing the night that I shot it. So I definitely want to shoot that again and you know, do a better one of those. But I can't. That's like a second half of the night target, so I need like a first half of the night target. Okay, blur. Star Exterminator seemed to do a good job. I had trouble with the last time I was processing with this, like pulling out nebulosity as stars, but looks like we don't have problems with that here. There's the starless image. That kind of helps you see the background too. And yeah, I think the background looks pretty good. And here we can see how we're just barely starting to get this outer fan area of detail, and not much of it down here. I think I really struggle with the oxygen signal with a faint blue, the O2 signal from where I am here. And I believe a different filter, a more narrow band filter, will help with that. So I may be looking to get a new filter. Always stuff to get, right? Always new stuff. Okay, got the noise out of there. Background looks very nice once it's been denoised. And the detail and the structure in here looks just fantastic. I mean, really love that. All right, let's nonlinear stretch it. Kill that. And we'll start to work on background darker. Still got a bit of gradient in the corner down here. This is where it starts to show up. I wonder if I should try some more gradient subtraction. Like if I really push the midtones up, then you start to see it. I wonder if maybe my flats are not quite calibrating as much as they should. We're just hanging out on Nerduino's stream last night, and they were talking about flats, and I'm like, I just reuse flats over and over, and they're fine. And so this is looking like maybe better flats would calibrate that a bit better. Yeah, I got this bit of an ugly glow in the corner down here. Let's try. I'm gonna try some background subtraction. Now you can see if I stretch it here, you get that. Let's try Graxpert. Toolbox, Graxpert. This may work weird without the stars in there. I think I've tried this in the past like this, and it does weird stuff. So we'll. Maybe that worked okay. Oh, and I do have, there's like a dust mote on there. Damn it. I'm gonna have to clean my either sensor or filter off. Okay. I think that's probably gonna be okay. But what I'll do is, in order to get the histogram, well, maybe we can just try it like this. Wait, that's weird. Wait, did I just... reset. There it goes. Why was that? I don't know, that was weird. Yeah, Graxpert pulled that bit out of the corner. That's looking better now. I like to keep the background kind of not fully dark yet, and we'll adjust it with curves later. A bit of a messy, a bunch of blotches in there, but that's all glow from the stars. When we add the stars back in, that'll look okay. And we definitely have some data there of the light bit of nebulosity. That looks pretty good. So now we want to make this core dimmer, and there's a bunch of different ways to do that. I think I'm going to try HDR multiscale transform. I think that will work because it's not significant. HDR multiscale transform I think works pretty well when you just have like a little bit of. Yeah, okay, so that was like way too much, clearly, right? So we just go increase the number of layers. Try increasing and then decreasing the number of layers with this tool. See what that gets. That's better. Oh, I don't like that at all because it dims the outside. Okay, maybe a bunch of layers? Oh, wait a minute. Maybe we want to do... I think you turn on lightness mask. There we go. That's more like what I'm talking about. It did kind of dull this outside a bit, maybe more than I like, but the core is a bit more, and we're gonna do a little bit more on that to make those details pop out even more. Sorry for those of you guys who are in an ad break, which you won't hear me say that. Okay, looking pretty good. So now we'll do, welcome back from those of you guys who were on ads. We just did HDR multiscale transform to get the core to be a bit less bright. And so now we can really start to see the details of this hydrogen gas on the inside of here. So now we'll do local histogram equalization, but first we'll do a mask to grab just the brighter areas. So we'll make a mask using the range selection tool. I do this on like all my images, and we may need to make that mask even more specific. We'll just try, usually use the local histogram equalization tool. There's like a lowish amount. And yeah, I think it's applying it to kind of this outer region. So I think I want the mask to be more specific. So I'll close that mask and I'll make a new one, increase the lower limit quite a bit. Yeah, I kind of want just this inside area. Because it's kind of just like the red bits there that I'm trying to make pop a bit more. Yeah, I want to leave these outer regions alone. And this looks like, I mean, I could crank this all the way up, and that's usually probably too much. I'll bring it down a bit. But yeah, it kind of looks like it creates shadows on the red bits there. Maybe a little bit less. I think when you're processing astrophotography, you know, get whatever tool you're using, like get it to a stage where you like how it looks, and then back it off a little bit. Like, it's really easy to overdo it, especially with a bunch of different processing steps. You can really overdo it, and I don't like the sort of over-processed look. which is kind of hard to describe. It's one of those things that's hard to describe, but you know it when you see it. And you do a bunch of steps, and if you go a little bit too much on each one of them, then it adds up, and the sum of those ends up looking not very good, I don't think. So that's cool. I like that. The colors are already pretty brilliant without saturating, but that's the next step, is to add saturation. So I think I will do another mask, range selection, but this time select all of the nebulosity as much as possible. I guess like that. We're gonna, I wonder if we, because I really don't want to saturate these blotchy star areas, but I do want all that nebulosity. So yeah, I really want like all that. I think I can do, I think I can use SETI Astro's Fame tool now. SETI Astro Fame. And so I'll like make a mask of the mask to select only the center area where the nebula lives. And this can be a fairly hard mask. Execute. Let's see what this does. Oh. Well, I could have just drawn that. Yeah, I didn't really want to do it like that. Yeah, it just makes this hard edge mask. I kind of want to just like erase. Like if I could just erase all those, like in Photoshop, I could just erase those out. Maybe I guess I could like clone stamp them out. Yeah, there's not like a manual erase tool. What if I try clone stamping like a big This is a rather inefficient way of working, but maybe there's a better way to do this. I'm just making a mask here to saturate the nebulosity, and I don't want to saturate these background blotchy bits because those are blotchy bits from stars, and I want all that color to come from the stars themselves. I want the background to stay nice and dark here. So what I'm doing is I'm clone stamping out all of the blotchy bits with black background. At least the brighter areas. And part of the reason these show up is because the area of nebulosity that I'm trying to saturate is super dim. And that'll get less super dim when I get more data. So this is kind of a stopgap solution, maybe you'd say, a temporary solution. Okay. I might have clone stamped out a bit much. I'm not sure if that was nebulosity or stars down there, but okay, cool. So now let's go to saturation tool. but not saturation tool. We want curves. That's weird. Why is it telling me I'm now live? Did I disconnect and reconnect? Yeah, just push saturation. I don't even need much saturation because it's already pretty saturated. Like that's, honestly, that's probably enough right there. And then what I'll do is I will invert the mask. Invert the mask, and then I will desaturate the background. Make the background really dull. Just kind of crank that down. And then let's see. Now, maybe invert the mask back, and from here just darken the background. Whoops. Redo that. Yeah, so maybe with the mask on, then darken the background a little bit. And then remove the mask. Okay, mask is gone. And then I'll do another curves adjustment, holding all of these bits where they are, and then just darkening the darkest dark. Just to darken the background just a bit. It didn't do anything. It's hard to tell in here too because there's too much light and glare on my screen. Maybe a bit darker, like that. Yeah, just a bit. And we can go back and readjust that later if we need to. Okay, now we just work on the stars. We will use SETI Astro script. Where would I be without SETI Astro? This would be really difficult and lame. Using the narrowband to RGB star combination tool, we can just take the stars and apply a star stretch. I usually do about 4.5 and execute. I'm not sure what all this script is doing, but I'm pretty sure it's taking this, it's splitting this star image into the RGB channels and then remixing them so the stars will look like they should look, and you see oranges and blues, and it looks perfect. Really easy to use, and then we just put the stars back in. And what did I do? I didn't name something, right? Whoops, this should be a lowercase s. Boom, stars in there. Look at that. That's pretty terrific. For one night of only a couple of hours of data, that looks pretty dang good. I love the color. I have a good pink, and the green blue looks really terrific. Lots of nice detail in the inside there. Stars look great. Easy peasy. Dumbbell Nebula, there we go. I can't wait to add more data, get this to like 10 or 11 hours, and then this outer area will really start to show up. That'll be exciting. Yeah, cool. Compare that to my old M27, my previous attempt at this. Oh my gosh, don't laugh. So this was shot with my Orion 8-inch astrograph and Canon 7D Mark II. Color is not really calibrated very well. Yeah, this is not processed very well. I think I tried to do deconvolution on here, and like the stars are weird looking. I think there's walking noise. Yeah, it looks like there's signs of walking noise in this image. Maybe the star's trailing a little bit. I mean, I could probably go back and reprocess this data and make it look a little bit better, but yeah, I mean, compare the two. It's a pretty night and day difference. Maziv, thank you for the lurk, my friend. So that is really great. Gosh, I'm really pleased with that. What an improvement. And it's only going to get better when I get more data. But I think the processing on this is pretty good. Background looks pretty clean. Yeah, that little extra bit of subtraction we did, I don't see much glow around there, and pretty nice. I'm happy. Happy. Okay, let's save this one and start on the next one. The next one's gonna be tricky. And it's probably not gonna look all that great, honestly, because I'm gonna need to get more data on it. But we'll see what we can get out of it today, because we're here. Why not? Let's save this. And AstroPix. Yeah. I may get, maybe, hopefully, fingers crossed, pretty soon. Maybe in the next month, I'll get a mono camera, proper narrowband filters. Hopefully, maybe. And then we can, give it a real proper go, right? So, JB, what's up, brother? Good. Yeah. If you're just joining in, look at the dumbbell. Oh, how'd your imaging session go last night? I had a pretty good night. Let's see, how many datas was this? Yeah, oh, this looks great. I'm super stoked with how this came out, and it's only a couple of hours. That's what I'm doing right now, is figuring out 34. 34 times 240 divided by 3600. 2 hours, 0.266 repeating minutes. So how many minutes is that? 0.26666 of 16 minutes. 2H16M. And I always put the date 6/23/25. Yeah, I'm super pleased. The amount of data and the amount of detail in the core here, and the sharpness, the stars really great. I was doing 4-minute exposures, pretty solid. Did have to throw away a few. I definitely still get I have a bad spot in the gears or something, because I'll have to throw away these sort of seemingly repeating bad subs, and they all look bad in the same kind of way. So. But it definitely doesn't ruin a night's worth of imaging. So, yeah, the bright area is great, and then you can see it just starting to get the dimmer. There's like these top and bottom wings or fans or something, and just starting to get it in here. So this will need, I don't know, 10 hours or more really to kind of pull that area out. But that'll be fun to do. That'll be fun to get, and something I can work on over the coming weeks and months. So yeah, very happy to have a good dumbbell nebula image now. This is one of my favorite targets visually to view through the telescope. Really beautiful. Kind of fills up the... This is narrowband. Well, it's broadish. It's broadish narrowband, right? It's the Optolong L Enhance, which is a pretty broad narrow region. It's very bright. Yeah, it's very bright. Yep. Sometimes referred to as the apple core nebula, because you in the eyepiece you kind of tend to see the brighter HA region. It's kind of like, it looks like an apple core. But in darker skies, you start to see more of the outside of it. And or with an O3 filter. O2 filter. O3? O3 filter. You can kind of see more detail. I look forward to seeing that in the telescope tomorrow night. Ha! Hell yeah. Okay, that's done. Let's take a look at the Cat's Eye Nebula. This is going to be tricky, because I need to do an HDR merger on these, and I don't really remember. I'm gonna have to probably review my own tutorial video on that. Tubes come tomorrow. Awesome. Oh wow, you're getting stuff. Cool, man. Yeah, right on. I need to get on rebuilding the base for my Dob. I want to make that sturdier. Distracted by this stuff. So Cat's Eye Nebula, I'm just starting to get the outer region, the faint outer region here. And this is like 3-ish hours of data, 3.5 hours of data. So, you know, maybe we get to like 10 hours and this will start to come out. Interesting target for sure. And a tricky thing about this, I was explaining earlier, the core is super bright. So I want to check out this one in the telescope. If it's this bright, you should be able to see it in the telescope. So I'm going to have to check that out tomorrow night. So you can see, even if I undo the stretch, this thing is blown out, right? At 4-minute exposures, this is blown out. So I shot and have stacked a same image, but with 45-second exposures, and here you can see not blown out. So there's kind of not really detail in there, but there's definitely like a brighter and a darker area. And if I auto stretch it, then it becomes blown out. So there's definitely some detail in there. So so we need to merge these two together. And not quite sure off the top of my head the process for that. I know I'm going to need to register. I'm going to need to register them to get the star alignment. So I'm going to need to do that. I'm going to need to subtract the backgrounds. You can see I've got a dust mode on here too. That's really unfortunate. I gotta get that figured out today before I go on my trip tomorrow. It's usually on the image sensor, so I'll track that down. Also kind of interesting, the diffraction pattern that comes from this bright object here. Okay, so I could do background subtractions and color calibrations. Let's take a look at my video. I made a tutorial on this like 10 years ago. Maybe more than 10 years ago. Got to go back through a lot of videos to find this. HDR composition in PixInsight. HDR composition. Okay. And okay. Well, there's a tool called HDR composition. Add files. There's my 300-second image, and then my 50-second image. Add files. 6 seconds. Okay, so it looks like you just need to register them and then use HDR composition. Hit the circle button and get yourself another beer, because this is going to take a while. All right, and we are done. Close that. And so this is my HDR image, and it shows you in its default linear state. So now if I auto stretch it, oh, and the core still looks blown out. Well, what's going on there? Well, that's okay. We have to do some... Okay, Yeah, all right, okay, I think I know what's going on. So let's see, should I subtract the backgrounds now first? Yeah, I'm thinking I do want to do. I didn't do that on the other one, so maybe not. Maybe not. Let's maybe not do that. Let's try. Okay, let's go. Let's go long. Call that one long. Call this one short. I need to register short to long. So process image registration star alignment. Reference image. So I'll say view. And yeah, view long. I want that to be the reference. Target add views short. Okay. And I think I can just hit the circle image and it'll make me the new one. Yeah, okay, so now if I auto stretch that, I should see, yeah, black bar around the side. That's cool. Okay. Okay. Okay, so now let's see, I'll put that down. Whoops, where did that, that was weird. Okay, so now we need HDR composition. PPLand, thank you for the follow. I mean, I know you've been following me over on YouTube, but glad to have you on the Twitch. Okay, HDR composition looks like it needs the file, so I have to save the registered out. So I will file save as projects and cat's eye. We will call that in XISF and we'll just stick with short registered for now. And yes, save all that. Okay, HDR composition, add files. So let's see, cat's eye, and we'll go short registered, and then we will add out 240 and the output there, and hit the circle. And let's see how this does here. Mask binarizing threshold 0.7 done. Fitting linear HDR image. Okay. I'll floss while this is happening. Let me run an ad break too while this is going on. I'll be right back in a minute. Oh, of course, it finished just as I hit the ad break. Well, you can watch me floss. And let that be a reminder. For you guys to go floss as well. Have you flossed yet today? The little food bits out of your teeth. All right, I'll be right back. All right, back. We got an HDR image. I think that looks right because there's detail in there in that core. And then let's auto stretch it. And yeah, look at that. Now, do we still have the astrometric solution? View Explorer. We do not. Do not have an astrometric solution. So you lose that. That's a bummer. I'm gonna close that. And I suppose we should redo that. Let's try Astrometry image solver. Haven't done this in a while. Let's see. Okay, resolution, pixel size. Okay, that should all be correct. The object. NGC. I need NGC number. 6543. Sometimes it's referred to as Sunflower Nebula. And the date 2025. Month is 6/23, and the time was about 2200 hours. And let's see, hit OK. Searching, doing its thing. And there we go. So I think we should be good. View Explorer and astrometric solution. Astrometric solution. Let's just do Graxpert for getting rid of the gradient. Graxpert still kind of seems to be the best tool to me. Gradient removed. A little bit of a noticeable spot from that dust mote there, but not too bad. So now we'll do a preview and color calibration, spectrophotometric color calibration. We are color calibrating. Good. And we'll do a auto stretch. Colors look good now. I hope the star exterminator doesn't think that's a star. Yeah, so there's detail in there. You can see there's like a lighter lobe and a darker lobe. First, blur exterminator. Should find the Hubble image of this target. NGC 6543. Hey, what's up, Andresar? Welcome. Andresar? What's going on? Welcome in. This is the Cat's Eye Nebula, also known as the Sunflower Nebula. And we just ran Blur Exterminator. So I'm gonna do a little before and after and see. Oh, look at some detail come out of there after Blur Exterminator. Yeah, okay. Starting to get a little bit more excited about this target. Definitely need more data. I mean, this is gonna need 10, 20 hours to get the data out of here. But that's okay. I can shoot that from home with the filters, so that's pretty fun. Okay, Star Exterminator, we might get difficult. Tushan, what's up, brother? Yeah, you know what? At some point, the stream on Twitch fucked off and fucked back on. It's been doing that to me. I don't know what's up with that. Because right now it says my session is only 29 minutes, but I've definitely been on for like an hour. On YouTube, I guess it stayed continuous on YouTube. Yeah, so I don't know why it did that. But, yeah. Anyways, I'm here. It's probably because I dual stream, and the way that works is you actually stream to a third-party service called Restream, and then restreams it to Twitch and YouTube. And yeah, I don't think it's Twitch. I think it's probably Restream. It could be Twitch. Twitch has problems too sometimes. So, yeah. Andresar, you are currently printing a Newtonian telescope. Cool. You say, I'm currently printing a Newtonian telescope. Which manufacturer? Well, if you're printing it, then you're the manufacturer. Crap. And yeah, the Star Exterminator subtracted the Nebula out of there. Okay, so that's not gonna work. We're gonna make a mask. This should be easy to mask though. Fortunately, we will use SETI Astro's fame script again. Where would I be without SETI Astro? This would just be not fun at all. Okay, so the zoom in is not that great on this tool. Okay, I will do freehand and draw a circle around here. And we want the blur amount, bring that down quite a bit. And that should cover it. So we'll just mask that off and then rerun Star Exterminator. So what are you, Andresar, you're asking about like which telescope you'd like to print, or I don't understand your question. And let me know if I'm saying your name right too, Andresar. Might need to make that mask a little bit bigger, but I don't think so. I think that'll work. Wow, that did, okay, that was weird. Okay, I need a bigger mask. Okay, that did some really weird shit. Undo that. Okay. I gotta mask off this whole area here. All right. Fame. Twitch SETI Astro fame. Tushan, we're getting ready to head out on a camping trip tomorrow, going up to the Owens Valley, up to Grandview Campground. Late notice, but if you guys could make it, I mean, and during the week. So, just letting you know what's going down. Okay, so I'm going to no, undo that. I wanna. I don't want it to subtract out these diffraction spikes. You work a lot. Well, good thing that you're working. What kind of work are you doing these days? I would request images of that. I mean, no worries if you don't want to share, but that could be pretty fun. I totally understand if you don't. Your face looked like one of Mazif's edits. Fair enough. Fair enough. That's a good reference though on the Mazif edits. How old are your daughters? Oh, okay. Setting up medical equipment. Oh, okay. Right on. Did that not... Oh, whoops. I accidentally ran a noise exterminator. I did the wrong one. Star exterminator. Massive fields attacked. Wow. 7 and 10. Man. On the TikToks, huh? Jeez. Yeah, every man, though, like, you know, like, I don't have kids. I probably almost certainly will never have kids. But, like, I mean, if I had a daughter, oh, fuck yeah. We're doing makeup, we're painting nails. You know what I mean? Like, fuck yeah. We're doing that. Yeah, 100%. But also, I don't want to have to deal with. Don't want to have to do that. Okay, I think we have success. Very good. There we go. Okay, where would we be without SETI Astro? How do people do this without? I don't know. You know, you find the tools that work for you and make it work. Okay, stars are gone, and don't need that anymore. Now we just have the nebula, and now this is going to be tricky. Oh, we have to do star noise exterminator first. Okie dokie. Noise is exterminated. There actually is some pretty decent data in here. I'm pretty excited to keep adding to this one. This is a unique and kind of, I don't know if I want to say rare target, but yeah. I'm gonna go back to my video. My tutorial from forever ago. And then 50-second image. And I want to see how did I 6 seconds. Boom. What tools did I use to stretch the image?
Circle button and get yourself another.
So this is from 8 years ago. I made this video
because it still looks blown out. Well, what's going on there? Well, that's okay. We have to do some extra trickery to bring it out, but the point is that data is there because if I kill the auto stretch, we can see the core there. What we do, I'm going to close all these, and at this point, I'm going to proceed to process the image as I normally would, with an extra step of HDR composition in there. So let me just quickly kind of show you how I do that. Oh, you can see this a little better. Pretty. But I'm just gonna skip ahead and just do so I can show you how to do to get the core out. So I need the screen transfer function and the histogram transformation. And
show me how you get the core out.
Just gonna stretch this so it's non-linear.
Okay, so you do a non-linear stretch that blows the core.
So now I want to bring the core out. And so at this point, I would have normally done deconvolution and sharpening and lots of other stuff. What I'm going to do is use the HDR multi-scale transform tool.
HDR multi-scale transform?
And
yeah, that's what I would...
This is a pretty handy-dandy tool. Now, I don't want to use the whole image. I want to make previews because it'll go quicker.
Yeah, make a preview.
This tool takes a little bit of time. And the core is the only area that I really care about for this process anyways. But I'm going to have to do some trial and error. You're going to fine-tune the number of layers All the other settings I leave default. It's just the number of layers
Okay, that's
that I care about. So what I'm going to do is make a bunch of previews here. I can just drag this along because I want to kind of, right? If I go from
okay. So I just use HDR multi-scale transform tool. So let's try that, which is what I've been doing on some of these, but I haven't really liked what I've been getting. So, yeah, that was old Dave. So we will darken the background here. Not too much. Maybe like that for now. Okay, so now we'll make a preview, and then I guess we'll just try HDR multi-scale tool, which is what I've been doing on some of these images and haven't really liked the way it's been working, but we'll try it here. HDR multi-scale transform starts with an H. Okay, so obviously that's not right. I think we want lightness mask on. I've been doing that. That looks like it's sort of starting to work. Yeah, so it looks like I need, like if I had more layers, I think it sort of has less of an effect. Yeah, that kind of just makes the thing bloom out. 2 layers. Okay, so 2 layers is not enough. 3 layers. 4 layers. So it's like I gotta go 3 layers to get detail in there, but it looks really weird. What if I turn off lightness mask and do 3 layers? Still looks kind of weird. Try 2 intensity. Also not good. If I try 2 lightness. It's such a, like a hard edge from, you know, the brighter to the darker areas. It's really tricky. I'm just trying all the settings here. Oh God, that's awful. There's some weird coloration going on in there. It's like purple and green. I think I want to find a reference image here. We'll go to Astro Bin. Search. NGC 6543. Yeah, this is a tricky image, kind of based on what I'm seeing from others here. Something went wrong. Oh gosh. Oh God. Splashy, hey, what's up, brother? Good, man. Astrobin's having a hard time today. Something went wrong. Whoops. Oh man, did I just break Astrobin? Astrobin seems to be broken right now, so maybe I'll just stick with what I have here. Oh, stupid thing. Yeah, this is from last night. Yep. And it's pretty tricky. It's proving quite tricky to process, which I kind of anticipated. What if I play with overdrive? What does that do? Maybe a little bit of overdrive? If I turn on de-ringing. Oh, I think de-ringing makes a bit of a difference. Can you see any planets in the nebula? No. No, we definitely can't see planets. You need a very large telescope for that. This may be better. James Webb Space Telescope, I think, is the only one that's been able to directly image planets. Yeah, maybe we'll go with that. This is a planetary nebula, which is one of those unfortunate names in science or that happens when yeah, it would be. I believe planetary nebula got their name because when they were first discovered, astronomers at the time mistook them for planets because they appear not as point sources like stars. They appear like disks, some of them, in telescopes. So yeah, it's an unfortunate name. But I think we do have some JWST images of oh, well, we have planets, exoplanets. Yeah. So there are, JWST does have pictures of exoplanets. You know, they're not very, they're not going to be very impressive. I mean, it's impressive when you know what they are, but you're not going to see surface details like we have of the planets in our solar system. We need a much larger telescope. Okay, I guess that's pretty cool. I do have some kind of a bit of ugly gradient here still. I think we'll kind of just fake that. Let's do another mask from SETI Astro. Okay, so I'm gonna darken the background a bit and desaturate the background. Oh, that's weird. Okay, not a very good mask. redo the mask. Okay, I think we want this softer mask here. Okay, now back to curves and try to... what do you think of imaging with the Hadley telescope? I think it would be a miserable experience, unfortunately. The Hadley telescope is just too flimsy and floppy. You know, with a really lightweight, like, planetary camera on there, might kind of be okay for planetary imaging. If you have a decent mount. But, yeah, it's just not intended for that. Okay, that's not too bad. We'll go with that setting there. Also has a spherical mirror instead of parabolic, so it's not going to be sharp. And you're going to get weird kind of color fringing and stuff. So, yeah, unfortunately, I don't think that would be very great. Ooh, and here I found a situation where chroma works better than saturation. If I use saturation, I kind of get... oh, maybe not. Oh, I was pushing the wrong thing. Never mind. Both tend to give pretty decent results. Maybe we'll go with that for now. You're gonna have to buy a new mount. What would I recommend? What are you trying to do? For what telescope? Are you trying to do imaging, or are you trying to do, yeah, for what kind of purpose? With the mount, the rule of thumb is the biggest, most expensive mount you can possibly afford. That's always the rule of thumb. You can never have too much mount. Okay, oh, maybe I don't want to kill that mask quite yet. This is kind of ugly. I kind of have a little, I can see the line around it where I have the mask. But that's okay for now. This is definitely going to be considered not at all a complete image. Very far from it. Ah, come on, why am I not grabbing that? Oh, maybe, oh, you know what? Okay, hold on. Maybe I can actually work on that. It'll make that a little bit better. I think I can adjust that. Let me see the preview. Yeah, I can kind of see the background of the edge of the mask, which looks kind of ugly. I think I can yeah, that's better. I kind of darken the whole region a little bit. I lose a little bit of detail, but I think that's preferable to having this kind of weird, obvious masked edge around it. So, yeah, that's good. Get rid of the preview. All right. Ah. Well, I'm not familiar with that mount, but, you know, what are you trying to do? Because it may be that a $300 mount, like, won't do it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, you know, like if I was trying to do imaging with the 6-inch scope that I just built, like, no way. Like a $300 mount won't, it's like, it's not, like, don't even spend that money on it. It's not going to do anything. Let's see. We want to do Steady Astro narrowband RGB star combination. HDR stars, and we'll star stretch 4.5. And there we go. And I'm going to go ahead and apply some saturation to the star image. I've been kind of liking these extra saturated stars in my images lately. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Okay, and just need to call this S and combine the stars. And there we go. So not a whole lot to see in there right now, but for only 3 hours of data on such a challenging target, pretty good. For imaging, yeah. Yeah, 660 millimeter focal length, 4-inch telescope. Yeah, that's gonna be really demanding. And I think I'm not familiar with that mount, but I'm gonna kind of get at that price range. It's probably not gonna. Well, I don't know. Maybe we were talking about that. I think we were talking about that in the Discord one day, and there's sort of a budget, I think, Explore Scientific mount that is well regarded. I can't remember if it's this one. This says it's $600, not $300. So. Oh, and it was discontinued in 2022. So, oh, well, there's a newer model. That's why. Oh, this one's 300. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I don't know. You know how well this performs. But I think we were talking about it in the Discord, and I think Mazif was saying that, you know, for what it is, it's actually pretty good. I can't remember if it was this one or not though. But even still, at that focal length, like it's gonna be tricky. It's not gonna be. It's gonna be far from ideal. For shorter focal length, like under, you know, for wider field stuff, like what they're showing, that's actually kind of not that wide field. So, you know, maybe could kind of do it. Oh, okay. Pippin Land's looking for a mount. It hurts to spend that amount of money. Of course, of course. All right, guys, I gotta go take a piss. I'll run a Twitch ad while I'm gone. I'll be right back. Thanks for being here. All right, Dave's back. Thank you for the lurk. Misadventures in Astro. Guys, if you're not following Misadventures, bleh, having a hard time with words on my mouth today. Shout out for Misadventures in Astro. I wish there was a better way to do that. If you're not following Misadventures in Astro, give him a follow. He does cool stuff. He does. He's got a Schmidt Cassegrain telescope. I think the 9 1/4, and he's got a. I think it's a Maxitov. I can never even say that. I think that's how you say it. Maxitov. Doing a lot of planetary stuff, which is cool. But now it's not really planetary kind of season, so we may not. Yeah. So Pippyland gonna use a 200. Yeah, so that's like an 8-inch scope, right? Yeah, so you need quite a bit of mount for an 8-inch scope. That's for sure. Yeah, you need a heavy duty mount for an 8-inch scope. And let's see. Talk about maybe a Wave 150i. I'm not that familiar with the mount market currently. Wave 150i, yeah, $2,500. Yeah, that's pricey, but you need something like that to swing an 8-inch telescope. You need a heavy duty mount. Our friend Dan has a Lost Mandy. I'm not sure which one. They've got like, yeah, I think their heaviest duty one, G11. I think he's got the. Yeah, I don't know the difference between the G11G and. Oh, I think it's this one, because I think this one has the upgraded declination axis. Yeah, so that's $4,000. Yep. Yeah, imaging Newtonians are expensive, and you need a good heavy-duty mount to swing them because they're big and large and heavy. So, yeah. The thing to drool over with astrophotography should be the mount. It shouldn't be the telescope. It should be the mount. You should aspire to have something like this, right? This is what you should drool over, not a telescope. Because then, like a large imaging Newtonian doesn't mean shit if you can't guide it accurately enough to get sharp images, right? That doesn't matter. So, yeah, the thing to start with to look at is buy a mount and then go, okay, what kind of optics are going to be good on this mount, right? And you know, this mount is $4,000. That doesn't include the tripod. Let's see. Yeah, another $800 for the tripod, so almost $5,000 for that with a tripod. That is a absolute chonky mount. Like this thing is like, it's made in the USA. It's all beautifully machined hardware. Yeah, if I was gonna buy a Worm Gear drive mount and I had $5,000 to spend on one, yeah. Yeah, that's a very nice piece of hardware. But this Skywatcher 150i at $2,500, probably also pretty damn good. And I'm sure you could swing an 8-inch telescope on that as well, and be much lighter and, you know, easier to travel with and stuff. Yes. Yeah, you got to spend a lot of money on makeup apparently. Skywatcher HEQ5 Pro. Yeah, I think that is that's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, that's a fairly decent. I think that's fairly decent. It's not quite, you know, I don't know my mounts very well. That one's, I think, fairly decent. You know, for, again, smaller scopes, right? You're probably not going to put a big imaging Newtonian on that. You know, shorter scope, or like the DBS 114, the 4.5 inch imaging Newtonian that I built, like that would probably be pretty good as well for that mount. I would keep an eye too on, you know, on the used market. The Cloudy Nights classifieds are a good place to check out. Let's see, mounts and tripods. Someone's selling a Celestron AVX. That's fairly decent for short focal range stuff, wider fieldish stuff, or lighter weight refractors. What else we see on here? Someone's selling a Lost Manny G8. 1600, that's a bit pricey. Oh, what's this Ioptron wedge? Ah, okay. Just a bit of a smaller wedge. Oh man, here's somebody selling an AM5 for 1800. What are those things going for these days? I think the AM5N is like 2500. Yeah. They must have not, I think they probably discontinued the AM5. So yeah, the AM5, the current version of the AM5 is $2,500. And yeah, so he's selling the older version, which is still solid, for 1800 with the tripod. You know, assuming it's in good shape, that's probably a decent deal. And that thing will, yeah, these AM5s can perform pretty darn well. Nice bit of kit. Anyways, it's kind of hard for me to really, you know because I've just been building stuff, so I just know my own mount, right, and what like my own thing is. So like trying to recommend or you know, or talk about these products, it's kind of tricky because I don't shop for them because I've been building my own. I don't mean that to sound, you know, snooty or arrogant or anything. I'm not familiar with that market very well. Anyways, I think we're pretty much done processing images. I look forward to gathering more data on this target and kind of figuring out how to get better detail in this core here. Maybe different exposure settings. Yeah, the thing is really bright. Super bright right next to super dim, and that makes for a real challenging. But an interesting target, and it will be fun to gather more data on. And it's a good part of the night sky. Let me go ahead and save this out. I don't want to see the project. I want to save the image. And NGC 6543 cat's eye. And how much did I have on that? I had a fair amount of data on that. 74 times 74 images times 240 seconds divided by 3600. Almost 5 hours. Wait, 5 hours? That doesn't sound right. Oh, yeah. I was like looking at the wrong thing. 48 images. 48 times 240 divided by 3600. 3.2 hours. 0.2 hours, 0.2 of 60 is 12 hours. 3 hours, 12 minutes. 3H, 12M. I like to record in the file name the integration time. So when I, after a couple more sessions, it starts to add up, then you can kind of compare 3 hours to 6 hours to 10 hours. It's kind of fun. 6, the date, today's date, 6-23-25. Pretty fun. So a couple of planetary nebulas shot last night, processed today. Really happy and stoked with how this dumbbell nebula is turning out. Even after only a couple hours of data, 2 hours and 16 minutes. So this one will start to add much more in these outer regions here over the coming weeks and months. Be a fun one to add. And tomorrow, I'm going to the desert. We're going camping, going to the best spot for astronomy. Gonna shoot some stuff. And so let's take a look now. A preview of what I'm planning. I need to shoot a better M17, a better Swan Nebula. This is from 2016. July 1st, 2016. So that is almost exactly 9 years ago. What's up, old geezer? Old geezer gazing. Don't say that one too many times too fast. What was the rig that I used? The rig that I used is check out my channel. If you're new to my channel, on my YouTube channel, there's tons of videos about my rig. My 6-inch telescope. Whoops, hold on. So this is the rig out on the tripod there. It's if you haven't seen my channel, I build telescopes, design and build telescopes. So this is a 6-inch f4 imaging Newtonian that I built. It's mostly 3D printed, uses some carbon fiber parts. Camera is the Player One Uranus C Pro color camera, and filter Optolong L Enhance filter, and it's sitting on the Strainwave gear drive mount that I designed and built and have iterated on. This is like the 6th version of it, maybe. And I just built this new wedge for it here, CNC machine aluminum wedge. So that's the rig that I built myself. That wasn't this image. That was my old image. That was these images that we just processed. Shot this stuff last night. Oh, you're able to get a Star Zone and Nexus. I really want to get one of those. They've been like totally out of stock everywhere. I haven't checked in a while. Yeah, they just always say back order, so I don't know what the deal is on those. Yeah, the Nexus is a 0.75 reducer coma corrector. It's supposed to be like the gold standard of reducer coma correctors. I would definitely like to get one of those myself, but it's also really pricey. So, but having that 0.75 reducer would make for more data, less time. So this was my Swan Nebula from almost exactly 9 years ago, 2016, July 2016. And I mean, it's cool, but it's not very good. It's not very sharp. It was poor focus, poor seeing. It's not very good. I really want to shoot a nice version of the Swan Nebula. This is probably my favorite target visually to see with my eyeball. So I look forward to seeing it through my telescope and imaging it tomorrow night. Oh, cool. Right on. Yeah, slave to ZWO. I mean, ZWO gets, you got to give them credit for making really good quality products that work really well. And I don't like the sort of ecosystem tie-in that they are kind of doing. But their products definitely work, and you know, if you're having fun with it, then that's great. You've been doing this for 6 months. Cool. If you want to share some images, we'd love to see. Check out the link to the Discord. It's pinned up at the top on YouTube there. And check out the link to the Discord if you want to share your images. We would love to see them. Oh, wow. Europe, they cost 700. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, they're like 450. Those Nexus reducers. So. Oh yeah, so you bought it from your friend. Yeah, so yeah, you got a good deal on it then. Yeah. So I'm planning to shoot the Swan Nebula, but that's like second half of the night target. First half of the night target, I was thinking I want to start to shoot some of the more obscure kind of stuff, especially broadband targets when I go out to the desert, because I can't shoot that from home. You know, the bright emission nebula stuff, well, like the Swan Nebula, you know, I can shoot that from home with a filter. I mean, it's going to be better, you know, without the filter, right? But you can shoot it with a filter. But let me change my... Yes. That's kind of generally the case. Old geezer. Hey, what's up, Sudaman? Welcome, first time chatter. How are you? I'm doing good, man. Welcome in. We just finished processing some images, and now we're I'm getting ready to go tomorrow, go camping in the desert for 2, maybe 3 nights. Just call you Simon. All right, Simon. Welcome in. I think it would be easier for me. Thank you. I appreciate that. So I'm getting ready to go camping for a couple nights in the desert, of a couple nights of astronomy, 2-3 nights of astronomy and astrophotography, and kind of planning out what targets I want to shoot. And so this is Stellarium. And so I'm looking over here. There's a lot of cool dark dust in the Rho Fuchsi region, but my telescope's field of view is very narrow. So I don't think, you know, I don't think I can really get, yeah, you know, there's maybe some cool stuff here, but I was looking over here at the Blue Horsehead. This is a big, cool region. And so the red box is the field of view of my current imaging rig. So I can't, I mean, I'd have to do like a 10-panel mosaic. But there's this region down here. There's like a yellow star and blue star reflection nebula and like and brown dusty stuff. IC 4601. And this is good to shoot right at sunset. I see, Astrobin was broken. Oh, Astrobin is down. So we'll just have to use Google search. 4601. Yeah, so this is, let's see. Yeah, so this region here. This is on Astrobin, so it's probably not gonna load. Yeah, Astrobin's broken right now. It's a bummer. We get like another. Yeah, okay, here we go. Oh, wow. So he's got the... Okay, here we go. Oh, okay, here we go. Yeah, so check this out. So this is... There's blue, beautiful blue, and some nice stars with diffraction spikes. And so the field of view on my scope probably be pretty similar to this. I like the sort of different colors. We got sort of the yellow and the blue here, and all this dust. So you can kind of see these bright... There's like 2 double stars there. Yeah. Yeah, so my field of view is probably a little bit wider. There's two, double stars, and then, so mine would kind of be, looks like this guy had a square image sensor and I have a 16 by 9. So, yeah, maybe I'll shoot that. Let's see what it looks like. It'd be kind of fun. It'd be something different. And I can't really shoot this from the light pollution from here. It would look not impressive at all. But some nice stars with nice diffraction spikes. So I should be able to, How hard is it to capture a shot like that? Well, it was a big learning curve, that's for sure. Once the equipment is set up and and calibrated and working, then it's a matter of just telling the computer to go to that target and start taking pictures, and it'll do it. But knowing what equipment to get and how to set it up and calibrate it is quite difficult. And it's even more difficult for me. I like to do things on hard mode apparently because I designed and built my own telescope to take images like that. Oh, I saved a picture of it. This was from Martin Junius. Astrophotography is incredible. It's amazing. It's definitely not for the faint of heart. Like I said, there's definitely a big learning curve, and can be a lot of frustration. But very rewarding, and not just with the images you're able to produce, but with learning about space and about the science about the objects that you're taking pictures of, and learning the night sky, learning where these objects are. So, some photography in general, yeah. So it's definitely not, astrophotography is definitely not like regular photography. In fact, I try to use the word imaging to sort of distinguish it from photography. We think of photography as hold the camera, snap a picture. Or, you can be very careful in your composition of hold the camera, take a picture, right? There can be a lot of planning that goes into that. And photographers do quite a lot of, planning for sun angles and, whatever it is you're taking pictures of. If it's studio photography, setting up lights but essentially you are at some point just taking a picture. But with astrophotography, you're not taking a picture, you're imaging for long periods of time, taking a series of pictures. So these images that I just shot, this is 2 hours and 16 minutes of integration time. So this is a series of 4-minute exposures. So a series of long exposures and then combined together. So I don't really like to use the word photograph or picture because that sort of implies, a snapshot, taking a photograph. And it's not. This is like collecting photons over hours and hours, right? So that's not to say that like one is superior to the other or anything like that. Say like, we do imaging. Like, no. But yeah, I just like to kind of try to, because it is very much a different process than taking a picture. So, and a lot of different stuff to learn. But it's very cool and rewarding, and learning about how that works. You just inevitably learn about space and about like what these objects are and the reason for the colors. And knowing the reason for the colors, then like how you want to image it. And there's different ways you can image it when you have the right tools for that. So there's a lot more in depth to it. Yeah, a lot of fun stuff. Yeah, oh, for sure. Yeah, definitely. So just to give that brings up a good point. So this is the processed image of the Dumbbell Nebula, 2 hours and 16 minutes of exposure time. we can look at a single exposure. So this is a single 4-minute exposure. So there's still a lot of really cool detail to see there in just a 4-minute exposure. Now you can see much better, much more in the processed image. I think the main difference really you see between these two images is just how clean and dark the background is. But that's just to compare. And it's, I don't know how clear it is. It's really clear on my screen, but on the stream maybe it's not quite as clear. But there's a ton more stars in here that you can see that you can't see in here, which is kind of crazy how many more little stars show up that didn't show up in a single exposure. That's interesting. Huh. That's cool. Oh, this one is upside down. Oh, Milky Way. Yeah, similar techniques, but a bit different for shooting the Milky Way. You want really dark skies. That's the main thing. You really need dark skies. So if you're like in the city, forget about it. You got to get dark skies. I don't have very good wide field Milky Way shots myself. Oh, I can share it. My friend Ralph. Let me load these up. He just shared some new Milky Way shots. Ralph is a professional photographer. Let me see if I can find these. Oh, where'd it go? I know he sent those. Oh, here we go. Guess I gotta download that real quick. Oh, are you down in Australia? Drive back in the outback where nobody lives, radius of 100 kilometers. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Outback of Australia? That's going to be like... So this is a Milky Way shot from our friend Ralph. I'm pretty sure the light dome here is the town of Bishop. Wait, actually, is that Bishop? No. That must be the town of Independence, I think, over there, California. Because that would be looking south. And so that's the Milky Way. And so the targets I'm going to shoot are like over here and over here. Oh. Okay, got it. Yeah. Dark areas in the Alps. So you can check light pollution maps. Let me... So just Google like light pollution map. And you can see where there's dark skies near you. So unfortunately, Europe is because it's so spread out and populated everywhere. There are dark skies in the Alps here. I assume these are the Alps, right? Yeah. Cut into Switzerland a little bit there, and so you get pretty dark. You know, if you can get in here somewhere. Yeah, so that's where you're gonna want to be. But you probably need to be, in order to get like decent decent Milky Way shots, you need to be at the very least in the green. right? But the darker, the better. Yeah. So it looks like there's hotels and campground and stuff, but that's still only Bortle 3 over there, though. Wow. There's just like... Yeah, Bortle, gotta go like all the way over here for Bortle 2. That's tough. That's really a bummer about living in Europe. Yeah. I'm sure there's... But you gotta find the ones like away from the popular areas, right? Like here, you know, that's still gonna be pretty light polluted, right? So yeah. Yeah, Europe, I guess, gets pretty tough. You know, then you look out over here. Look at the Western United States, right? Like, so there's all this really dark area. So where I'm going to be headed is up here. The campground is like right around here. Let's see. Sometimes it has, yeah, right here, Grandview Campground. So yeah, this is Bortle 2. Very dark there and in the mountains. So como to Alqueva in Portugal. Oh, I'll bet Portugal has some nice weather. Yeah, Portugal looks like you don't get anything in the, I mean, there's a little bit of areas where it gets a bit darker in the Bortle 3-4 range. But, yeah. So, anywho. Head down into Africa and get some dark skies there. Or Australia. Or South America. Down here in Chile, they build a lot of telescopes around here. Even Mexico is pretty light polluted. Yeah. Yeah, in the southern hemisphere, for shooting the Milky Way in the southern hemisphere, it rises like directly overhead, high in the sky, so you can get like this full panorama of it. Here in the northern hemisphere, we only get like, it only rises like part way through the sky, so it's better down there for shooting the Milky Way. North Korea is pretty good for light pollution. So, you know, if you want to go to North Korea, you know, that'd be a good spot. Uh, 6 to 7 down in Vista. Well, cause so Vista's sort of like on the edge of Camp Pendleton, right? So, let's see, Escondido, Temecula. Oh, cool, right on, Geezer. Yeah, I'll check that out in a sec. Where the heck is Vista? I thought it was right over in here. But yeah, kind of in there, right? Oh, Vista there. Yeah, so right in the middle of Vista, you know, that's still gonna be, yeah, that's still gonna be pretty light polluted. But it's kind of right on the edge of where it starts to get a little bit less light polluted, right? So. And then you look at most of SoCal, it's just white. But I'm over here, so I'm like a little bit. Yeah, this says Bortle 7. That's not. I mean, okay. I don't think that's really accurate, but yeah. What camera am I using? I'm using an astronomy specific camera. From Player One Astronomy. I mean, I like cities too for a living. Like, I like to be able to just drive down to Taco Bell and get some tacos, you know, and, well, I mean, in Southern California, you want tacos, you go to the real taco place, but, you know, sometimes you're filled with self-loathing and then you go to Taco Bell. But yeah, I mean, I like living in the city too, but it's nice to be able to get away from it. Yeah. So this is the camera I'm using. This is an astronomy. This camera's made specifically for astronomy. So, you know, that's more ideal for astronomy, which should come as no surprise. But, yeah, this is the camera I'm using. So pretty good. Not too bad. $570, pretty good deal. For what it is, the camera is amazing. Really pleased with it. I do want to get a new camera. I want to get a mono cam, and they have them in stock. It's really tempting to hit that button right there. $1,000 though, but for what it is, this is an incredible deal for this camera. And yeah, I definitely want to get one of these soon. But yeah, we'll see. Not yet. Gotta kind of wait on that a little bit. But definitely looking forward to something like that. So, all right, I think that about does it for me. I think I'm gonna bounce off. Let's find a raid. Any good raid targets? Anybody on that we could or should raid? Let's just take a look at who's on here. Black Cat's Manor. I don't know who that is. Let's see. We got some guys building PCs. I see myself on there. Oh, this guy Mellow Labs. I haven't seen him. I met this guy at Open Sauce. Okay, we're gonna go raid Mellow Labs. I met this guy at Open Sauce last year. And so I don't know what's he working on. Browsing AliExpress for parts and occasionally being tempted by furry paraphernalia. Okay, well. Oh, he likes to view the sun. Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll raid this guy. I've been following him on YouTube a little bit. And so anyways, we'll drop a raid on him. Thanks guys for being here. Follow if you're not following. Check the Discord if you're not. And oh shoot, you know we have. Hold on, our friend Old Geezer shared some. Oh, look at this shot. This is great, dude. I love the Triffid. This is one of my another one of my favorite images. Thanks for sharing, Old Geezer Gazing. This is a shot from the Sea Star, which is just incredible what that smart telescope is capable of. With a bit more integration time and some processing, that could definitely be better. The background could be a lot darker, but yeah, still really great. And I love the Triffid. Yeah, frustrating. Yeah. But still awesome, man. Thanks for sharing. All right, we need to go follow. We need to go raid Mellow Labs. I gotta get ready to go tomorrow. Gotta start getting packed and all that stuff. Thanks for being here, guys. Follow if you're not following. Check the Discord. You know, all that stuff. Join the Discord. Share your pics. Share your projects. Love to see it. And I'll catch you guys later. We will raid. Say hi to Mellow Labs and drop him a follow. See what he's up to. And peace out.